Devotional tonight. As you just saw, we are going to record this meeting because there's some people that couldn't be here, or if there's some information that you maybe didn't write down because you're cooking dinner or whatever and stuff, you can go back and revisit it as needed and stuff. So we'll make sure to upload it to the Teen Camp YouTube channel, and we'll make sure that gets out to everybody later on. But again, I want to officially just welcome you guys to the devotional here. We are so excited that camp is just around the corner. It is, I mean, it's amazing that there's a mix between, man, I can't believe it's already here, and wow, it's been a whole year and it feels like it's taken forever, and all the planning and all the stuff. And so it's just awesome that the culmination of all of it is now upon us. That like was shared earlier, for those of you that maybe came in a little bit later, both camps are completely maxed full to the rafters. We can't take one more child. I don't even know if we could fit an extra mattress at camp right now. Like we're stacked, which is such a great thing. I think especially with the conference being later on in this summer, it's encouraging that the kids are going to really have the opportunity on both fronts to have the chance to be at camp here, and then you get to experience the conference later. What I want to do here right now, just to start off our devotionals, I want to ask Mike Morris, who is an elder. I haven't prepared him for this, but ask him to just say a prayer for our evening, and then we'll get into the rest of what we're going to cover here tonight.
God, thank you for this time that we can gather to talk about the upcoming camp for our teens and the youth, and prepare them and prepare the parents and prepare the counselors even more. God, we ask for you to continue to look over us and guide us and give us discernment. Help us, give us even more patience than what we have right now as we enter into camp. Give us a desire to really help and to lead these young men and women to a better relationship with you, and also with relationships with one another. Father, thank you for the parents that are willing to trust their children with us for a week, and pray, God, that we can return them in a great way as well. Father, thank you for, again, all the men and women that are volunteering to make this happen. Thank you for the men and women willing to sacrifice money and time as well. We're grateful for the children you've given to us. And God, we are so grateful. We are grateful for your son that has given us life. And we're grateful for the forgiveness of sin and mercy and grace that we receive. And we pray this all in your son's name. Amen.
Amen. Let me spotlight here. Oh, am I in the spotlight now?
I got you, Jake.
Okay. Well, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Jake Rock. I am the camp director for Teen Camp, and I get to work alongside the amazing team with Jose, who's one of our camp executives, and the Morrises, who are also our camp executives. Sorry, I'm a little bit of a mess right now. But we are, like I said, we are so excited for what is coming up here. And if you haven't seen them on here as well, Bill and Wendy Ellis are the directors for the youth camp. So for those that don't know us, you've got a chance to catch us in our little Zoom boxes and stuff. And we'll look forward to seeing you in a few weeks at drop off. But tonight, what we're going to do here, what the goal of this is really a still new to us thing for the Florida camps. And we started doing it last year because we had all the COVID protocols, and we had to explain all the differences and what was going to be new about camp and the things we had to iron out. Luckily for this year, God has been taking care of us. We don't have to do those kinds of things. We're kind of back to camp as normal. But we still thought it's such a cool opportunity that we're all familiar enough with Zoom that we can spread out everybody that has registered their kids from all over Florida, and even some of our out-of-staters that can just get the same information and get ourselves not just prepared for what we need to bring or pack or whatever for the kids and answer those practical questions, but also even just thinking about spiritually how we can prepare ourselves and our kids to be able to have a great experience this year at camp. And so what we're going to do here is I've got a short devotional thought that I wanted to share with you guys as parents, okay? And it's going to come out of the book of Job. And I know what you might be thinking, like, yeah, what does the book of Job have to do with camp? The answer is nothing, and it's not depressing, I promise. This is actually the cool thing. This is before all the sad things happen in the book of Job. In chapter 1, there's actually this great story that an elder shared with me years ago that I thought is so appropriate as we think about camp, about what our role is as parents leading up to camp, but also while camp is going on, that I think is good for us to keep in mind. Okay, so in Job chapter 1, verse 4, it says, his sons used to hold feasts in their homes on their birthdays, and they would invite their three sisters to eat and drink with them. When a period of feasting had run its course, Job would make arrangements for them to be purified. Early in the morning, he would sacrifice a burnt offering for each of them, thinking, perhaps my children have sinned and cursed God in their hearts, and this was Job's regular custom. Okay, so what I love about this, and this is what the elder who shared this with me years ago kind of brought to my attention is what you see here is that Job's kids kind of were wherever they were, right? We don't really know much about them. We know kind of the tragedy that lay before them, and I promise you that we're going to do our best at camp to not let the gym collapse on them, and like we're going to take really good care of them as best as possible. I cannot promise that there won't be some rogue dodgeball that will find their face at some point, because that tends to happen on a regular basis. But as far as what is happening here, Job is setting us a great example as parents, even for laying our kids before God's feet. That what we see here is that they were, his kids would go off and party for their birthdays, and you can imagine what kind of happened there. And Job was just like, look, I don't really know what happened, but I can probably imagine. So I'm going to go ahead and set up a time to purify them, but as well, I'm going to make sure that I offer a burnt offering for each of my kids on their behalf. And I love this because this is such a good practice for us as parents as you think about your kids being away at camp. And there's good before camp things that I'm going to talk about here in just a second, but even while camp is going on, to be praying for each of your kids, to be laboring and offering before God the hearts of each of your kids while they're at camp. This is a special place. Something happens when you take kids out of their normal environment, I think especially after the last several years and what this has been for each of these kids. But when we take them out of their normal environments, we take the devices away, where they're surrounded by spiritual people, where we are attempting to make a spiritual environment where they're going to be engulfed in lessons and worship and games and competitions and relationship building, that something special can happen here. This is kind of, I told the teens in Orlando yesterday during our devotional that camp is kind of like a mini promised land on some level for a week, where we come in all of our messiness throughout the year, and we get to engage with God in a different kind of way. And God tends to do some pretty miraculous things. Maybe he stirs up in the kids the hearts to want to study the Bible. Maybe it's just that they meet somebody that they would have never met because they live, 5 hours away, and they get to build a friendship that lasts a lifetime. I met the best man at my wedding, and I was the best man at his wedding at youth camp when we were 13. This has the ability to change your kids' lives forever, but our job as parents is not to drop them off and let them go, but it's to be praying about the work that God wants to do, to be praying for their counselors. Good Lord, please be praying for their counselors. Pray for their energy. Pray for their wisdom. The Bible tells us in James, if any lacks wisdom, he should ask God, who gives it generously. I think that goes for praying for other people as well. But even before camp, I want to encourage us here that we've got a few weeks before camp gets started to have dinner table conversations with your kids. What are they excited about? What do they remember from last year? What are they hoping to learn? And what are things that they look forward to? What do you think maybe God is trying to teach them through the camp themes? For the youth camp, it's dreamers. It's about Joseph and his interactions with God. For teen camp, it's called One Way Home. It's about what it means to be home with God here on earth, but as well as into heaven. There's lots of great opportunities for conversations. For the teen camp, I'm going to be sending out, and we're still putting it together, but I'm going to be sending out a 15-day devotional package out of the Psalms of Ascent. And they're just really, really short Psalms, but just some questions and some scriptures to get the kids thinking before they get there. But I want to encourage you to not just let camp happen. They're out of school. This is a chance to engage with them, to prep the soil, so to speak, before they get to camp, so that God can really plant some amazing seeds in their hearts. And so, like I said, I think this is going to be a phenomenal year between camp and then the opportunity that they get to go to the conference and meet disciples and sing with disciples from all over the world. And here, I mean, this is such a unique opportunity that our kids get to experience here this summer. But I want to encourage us, like I said, as parents, to use the opportunity, use these next 2 weeks to pray with your kids, to have conversations, to, take them to Goodwill to go shopping for clothes that they can get trashed, whatever, that will help them to get excited about what God is wanting to do in their hearts. And then while they're at camp, one of the things that we started doing last year that we're going to continue with this year is that there's a Facebook group for the youth camp as well as the teen camp that is designed so that you can kind of follow along throughout the week. We're going to have counselors and people taking pictures and posting about things that are happening throughout the week so you can kind of travel along with it and pray for the kids as they go. Real quick with that is just for the parents for legal reasons because they're minors. We don't that's not for aunties and uncles and people who are not legal guardians. We want to make sure to protect that space as much as possible. So, but we want you guys to be a part of that so that it'll help you to be praying and thinking about your kids, especially for those of you that maybe have kids that are out of the house for a full week for the first time. But either way, this is going to be a phenomenal time. The Florida teen and youth camps are amazing. I'm a product of it. I went to the teen camp as a kid. So I'm so grateful that I get the opportunity now to be a director and help to offer this for the next generation. So what we're going to do here for the rest of the night is that I'm going to turn over to the Morrises here in just a second, and they're going to go through some practical stuff with registration, kind of what do we need to do leading up to camp right now, and solve some things there. And Jose is going to share a little something, and then we're going to split into breakout rooms. There's going to be a way for you to select if you're a parent for youth camp or teen camp. If you have kids for each, you have the ability to you maybe want to get the other parent on a device. But we're going to split you up by camps to be able to address some specific things for the youth camp and specific things for the teen camp, as well as give you guys as parents the opportunity to ask questions that we can help to solve as needed. But anyways, guys, we're excited about this. Thank you so much for joining tonight. I'm going to turn things over to the Morrises for a few minutes here, and then we're going to continue on with the rest of the evening.
Great. Thank you, Jake. And I do want to thank Jake and Jose, Cindy, Karina, Bill, and Wendy for their work that they've been doing up front, basically especially since like January of this year, putting this all together. And Karina even had to have a baby in the middle of all this. So anyways, we're grateful for that. And they have such a passion to put on a great camp for these children. Also want to thank the parents for signing up your children in a timely manner. That there's been many years that we've had camp and we were still looking to fill spots at this time. And but you guys have come through in an amazing way. And if for some reason your child's not going to be able to come over the next couple of weeks, if you'll let us know, we do have a waiting list and we would love to be able to fill their spot if they can't make it for themselves. So just let us know that. I think Jake didn't mention I'm an elder in the church here in Orlando. My wife, Cindy, is on staff here. I'm not on staff, but I'm full-heartedly into camp and things that go on in the church here. But so we're out there, and I'm out there mainly too to help oversee things that keep your children safe. I can be the bad guy at some times, but I don't like to be that all the time. But for overall, really, the children, once they know the rules and the expectations, they really do very well. We've had very little problems over the years, and we are very wise to things that could go on, especially when it comes to water events. There's a lake there, and we want to make sure things are done properly there. We will have 3 lifeguards with us. Cindy will get into some more of these details, but I just want you to know that we do look after the safety of your children and try to take care of them in different ways. Was there anything else? Cindy's really the brains of this operation when it comes to camp, between the 2 of us. And she's the one that's going to take it from here and give you some more details of what to expect. when you show up at camp this year. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you. Oh, one other thing, if you ever have any questions and you want to get a hold of Cindy or myself, please give us a call, and we'd be glad to talk to you, even at camp if you have a concern. So we're not going to give you our phone number, but you could call us if you got it. We'll make that available. Thank you.
All right, here we go. I was just talking to my daughter and she said, "Oh, is this going to be informational or inspirational?" And I said, "Well, sometimes information is inspirational. Sometimes when you know what's going on, it inspires you to with the event." So as it's been stated, love teen camp. This is, we've skipped a couple years, but this is going into the 22nd year of camp. So obviously have a passion and a buy-in and love being at camp and all the work that goes into it. I also want to thank Jen and Anita in the office, and Corey Hardaway is my mini-me, and Colette Ratcliffe has joined the group too. And so it happens you start naming people, you forget those that have hands-on, and the youth camp is full of dedicated people too. So preparing parents to prepare campers. That's what we're going to go over. Registration for those that have done camp for years is the same as it used to be. So we will meet in the gymnasium, go through registration. We will probably hold a lot of people outside. So bring water bottles, umbrellas for the sun or whatever. So we don't congregate as much as a whole group in the gym, but that'll be the only thing. We're going to go through things with camp and youth camp. And if we get through all this, may not split at the end, but we'll see how that goes. Teen camp is in the gymnasium. Youth camp is in the lodge, which is over on the youth camp side, which will be very, very clear when you get there. A lot of questions is what to bring list. What to bring to camp. That list is on FloridaTeenCamp.com. It's on FloridaYouthCamp.com, and it's in your email confirmation letter that you got when you registered. One of the things that has changed on that list, well, it's added to that list. We are asking for the kids in both camps to bring their backpacks and own water bottle. The benefit of that is they're used to their backpack. It's stronger than the ones that we provide. We provide a string type backpack, and we provide a water bottle. Cost wise, it's, it's doable and it's workable, but for the kids that are used to your backpacks and water bottle, which is school, which is scouts, which is sports, we think that'll be very beneficial this year because they usually have a carabiner or a hook that hooks their water bottle to their backpack. The string bags will not hold the weight of a filled water bottle on the backpack. So that's something we want to add. If your camper can come with their own backpack that's stronger and more durable, fits a few more things in it, and their own water bottle, that will be great because we are very into keeping the water bottles filled so that they can have plenty to drink and to hydrate.
Khalid put the website on the chat.
Okay, and Khalid has the websites on the chat. Okay. Medication. We have 2 nurses for teen camp. We have 1 nurse for youth camp. All medications must be checked in at the nurse during registration. That's camper or staff. We do not want medications in the suitcases, in backpacks, or anything like that, but all will be funneled through the nurse, and she will be responsible for getting your children the medications that they need. One of the things that you can prepare them, your campers, is to remind them that they need their medication, remind them of the time, whether it's before breakfast, after breakfast, bedtime or whatever, kind of instill that in them. And you probably have for as long as they've been on medication, but that is helpful for them to know that they are going to have to go to the nurse when they need their medication. Also want to know that Dr. Chuck Lorbeer will be back with us this year, 24/7 as a therapist, a counselor. And that was extremely helpful last year in dealing with some situations. The kids know he's there. You have either signed a waiver allowing your child to talk with Dr. Chuck or not. That was in your registration. But he is incredible and he loves camp. He's had 2 kids come through camp. He's out of Jacksonville, and he just, it's just very helpful to have someone of his caliber and wisdom on camp, on staff with us. For administration, you've been doing a lot of back and forth talking with Jen Poole. And Khalid, you can put that number on there if you want, the church office, 407-823-7370. The big thing Jen wanted me to relay to you that to check your emails. Somehow we've moved from an email generation or email people to texting or IG or whatever, but check your information for your waivers. Jen has sent out a lot of emails to parents to submit your waivers, and you don't check your email regularly, so she doesn't have that information. And also, we apologize that the first people that did do their waivers on time, the date was wrong. It's 2021. So we need you to go back. And so she and re-sign those forms. And she has sent those to you. And it's something that you wouldn't necessarily be looking for. So please check your email for waivers, for camp fees, or anything like that that they have, that Jen is sending you. You can continue to pay on your camp fee through the office, and 100% is due on June 26th, the first day of camp. I will be turning in the list to the woman in charge of food at camp. So if your child is vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, peanut-free, well, it's a peanut-free camp. But I will be turning that information in. They do a really great job of supplying food appropriate to the kids' needs. And I've taken that off of the medical needs. So if for some reason you forgot to put that on there, you would need to get a hold of Jen or I. But for the most part, I think we have that covered. On concession cards. You have ordered concession cards, some of you, when you have registered your children, and that's great. If you want more concession cards, you can buy them at camp. If you didn't buy them at the time on registration, you can buy them at camp. And you don't have to get your children a lot of cards. You can get them cards to get started, and then they can buy more cards at camp. The camp does not refund money. So it's easier for us to be conscientious of how much you're spending and let the kids buy more as they go, which means that they will have money on them, which is really, we don't like to do that, but it's kind of hard to go between those, not having money on you. Make sure they don't have any valuables, expensive watches, electronics. I mean, it'll be asked for at registration. Anything that can be connected to internet, all their phones will be turned in at camp, and we will mark those put them in a baggie, mark them for when they can pick up. For our benefit, if you would take those phones home, that would be really great. And then of course, bring them back when you pick up the kids, and then they can jump on their phone and see whatever they missed. That is the main things for registration.
Hey, Cindy, we have a question in the chat about sending Lactaid. Does it need to be taken to the nurse as well?
You need to check with the nurse when you register, and they will let you know. But because we don't want any other kid to get a hold of something, thinking it's something or wondering if it's something and doing whatever with anything. But
Yeah, as
that's
a general
question
rule
for
of
the
thumb,
nurse.
parents, anything, even if it's over the counter, you must check with the nurse. Like, we do not let the kids keep vitamins, anything like that. Like, they've got to be cleared with the nurse, because if something happens, and God forbid, if a kid touches something they're allergic to, we got to make sure that that's all covered. So do not assume. You got to make sure to talk about it with the nurse. There's a question about inhalers, though. That's a good one to clear up.
Yes, the same thing. You need to let the nurse know that they have them. And some parents are okay with that. It's just an optional need. Some kids have to have their inhaler on them, and they will be in their backpack. It's another reason to have a good, solid backpack that they can store their inhalers in. Yes.
And
There
kids
are
are not
that have
allowed
their
to
inhalers
share
on
them. The kids are not allowed to share inhalers. So try to make that
Yes.
clear.
How do we add money if it runs out while kids are at camp?
I'll loan it to you, Mike.
Yeah,
And I heard you mention adding money. That's why I was wondering, how do we do that if money runs out?
Money
No,
runs
I
out,
just-
they may learn a lesson in self-control.
I'd say if you give your child, okay, I know we don't like to have money at camp, but if you give a child an extra $10 bill, then teach them where to stash it in their luggage or in their backpack that they're responsible for. We've not had instances. That's not a big thing that I'm concerned about, of losing money or people stealing money, but
Maybe about how they get another card.
how they get another card is they just come to the main cabin, the Cypress House, and we will issue them another card. It's an easy process.
Let's say something real quick. The question was, how do we know if the money runs out if they don't have their phones? Well, guys, keep in mind, this is about like the snacks this is the snack shack. This is not like food. Food. They will get plenty of food throughout camp. This is just the bonus stuff. So if they run out of that, then, it's not going to be a loss either way. I would just say that on some level. We're talking about like candy and chips and those kinds of things and stuff.
Yeah, the cards are $5. The snacks, chips, ice cream is usually $1 to $1.50. So say, $3 a day, $10 to $15 is very appropriate. $10 is probably what most kids get from their parents. Oh, so just answered that. Can we send a case of water for our kids? You can send a case of water. We make sure there are iced water coolers all around at all the sporting events, gymnasium, auditorium, cafeteria.
We won't have a place to cool them.
We won't have a place to cool the water. Okay, let me talk about
Cindy? I'm sorry, can I say real quick? If parents want to add concession cards now, they can send me an email. If they forgot, it's not too late, or they can send cash with their kids when they come to camp.
Are we going to do questions and answer at the end or what? We can
Okay.
do them. Well, if we could hold our questions until the very end, and then once we get through this general information, then there will be that opportunity for those questions to be answered. Thank you.
Okay, let's talk about prepping our campers. It'd be a good thing now to talk about not having their phones at camp, detoxing them a bit from their phones, from social media, however you would choose, to do that, of limiting them so that they know what it feels like, because it's not odd. I mean, we don't have kids that really fight it. I mean, once they get there, they really like that feeling of not being connected. Encourage your kids to speak up. If there's something going on, if they want something, need something, there's something going on in the dorm, in a relationship, our counselors are prepared to help with those questions, concerns, and the counselors and the crew members in youth camp are trying to come to those adults that are on staff, which we are heavy on staff, on over 30, 40, 50, 60-year-olds at camp to help in that. Just let them know that they can express their feelings, that they can speak to us to get their needs met, because that's something that they may not realize they can do. Help them to, when they get to camp, to introduce themselves. Do as to others as you would have others do unto you. Let them, get them to believe that people want to know who they are, and they want to know who other kids are. There's a lot of kids that aren't used to being away, especially with that lull of 2 and 3 years of COVID. That really made our kids not spend overnights at people's houses and different things that people don't have their kids staying. But even in camp, it was always youth camp seemed to be not having kids away from their parents overnight, but it's a lot of teens as well right now. Help them to be kind and patient with themselves, with each other as they go through their camp experience. On packing, if you could help them pack. What we're calling what you pack is called camp attire. And the best camp attire is shorts and a t-shirt. So if you have all, enough shorts to go through a week, plus getting muddy or wet or rain showers or whatever, and enough t-shirts to go through the week, male and female, that is the best camp attire. And that would work really well. We would appreciate you checking their bags, making sure that they don't bring anything into camp that's not allowed to be at camp, which would be any medications that they would hide from you, any of the gummies, anything that, don't please check your kids' stuff, know what they're bringing to camp and then you can, what's the word? Deal with it at home before it gets to camp if something that they are not supposed to bring into camp, and deal with it at home first would be very, very helpful. Like they mentioned, pray for your leaders, the crew members, the staff and everyone of what's that we can have a great week, a safe week, a spiritual week. When your kids come home, they're going to be tired. One thing I missed was closing ceremony. Closing ceremony for teen camp is 11 o'clock. You're as teen camp, as parents, you're invited to that. Wendy, I forget what time youth camp. I think it's earlier. I think it was it 10:30?
At least 10.
It was at 10 to 11.
Yep.
I think it was. I think the youth camp is 10 to 11 because there's a lot of people that have kids in both camps. So youth camp was 10 to 11. You go to that, you pick this, get your kids all situated, get their
yes, 10 to 11.
Okay, get their suitcases in the car and everything, and then you can go over to the teen camp closing ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
But just when the kids come home, they're going to be tired. Give them time to let the dust settle, but follow up with the kids. Think of questions, open-ended questions that will help them. Deeper than how was camp? Oh, it was good. And then that's the end of your conversation. What was your favorite thing to do? What was your favorite activity? What was your favorite Bible story? What was the funniest thing that happened on your team? Who did you get to meet? Did you get any phone numbers? So that you as parents, like Jake said, he met his best friend when he was young at camp. And that's the great thing about a Florida camp. When all these kids are in the state of Florida together, they do know each other and they grow up. Like, what's the weirdest thing? What's the grossest thing that happened at camp? Anything like that, because there's going to be a momentum. That's the one thing that we have really learned. We said there's a momentum at camp, and that's going to carry on at home. And so the parents That's how you can help your child, is keep that momentum going. When you get home, there's going to be special activities probably. I know with us there are in Orlando for teen events, middle school events, and you want your kids to hit the floor running and going to those events afterwards. It's easy to make contact with new friends because of the technology. So remember that even if they meet someone that lives in South Miami and they're from Jacksonville, you can have that relationship. Okay. I know Jose's going to hit on several things of safety. So check for the contribution.
All right. Awesome. Well done. Thank you, Cindy, for that. Thank you for sharing with us those things, the details for the check-in and all that stuff. There's just a couple things that I really wanted to talk to all of us about. One of the things that Jake had mentioned and that we try to create is this place. And it happens, those of us who know, those of us who have served, teen camp is a special place. Youth camp is a special place. It's a place for building memories. It's a place for building relationships. It's a place for people to walk close with God. And when you have this many people praying and this many people working hard to walk with God and help others to do the same, special things happen. Lots of great stories throughout the years. I've been serving alongside the Morrises for almost all of those 22 years. I think I'm on 21 myself. So yeah, this is a very special thing that we love very dearly. And we just, thinking about these kids and the moments, the stories and everything that goes into it, the staff that we get to work alongside. We've had so many campers who have become staff members who are, then go on to become parents themselves. And we've got generations now of camp kids. And so it's really, really cool. And because of that, because of how special it is, and just because these are God's kids, we're all God's kids. There's definitely some things that we want to talk about to really make you guys aware and to help really fight the enemy, because that's really what's behind this. We learned from Paul in Ephesians about the spiritual battle that wages heavily against us. And I think all of us over the last couple of years have really felt that, especially in the pandemic, being isolated and all the things that we experienced together through that. And now coming back together, where in many ways the pandemic has hurt us, we are resilient. We are fighting back. We're not allowing the enemy to take any ground in our camp. It is holy ground. It is special to us. And we are definitely holding on to that. One of the things that I definitely wanted to just address is the bullying. We've had situations in the past where there's been isolated incidents of bullying, kids picking on one another, pranks that have gone too far and stuff like that. And we've addressed those things, and some of them have had to result in some disciplinary actions that have happened on site. Others have just been, pretty serious talks. But lately it's really become something a lot more, where the bullying has taken on a character where it's not so much the physical pranking and that kind of thing. It's really moved on to really defamation of character, really just being mean and hurtful towards one another. And that's one of the things that just really tore at my heart last year, was coming back from the pandemic, coming back from not being able to be together and finally having camp again. And then to have so many of our children hurt and hurting because of what others have said, or things that they were rumors, and just all kinds of stuff that just really didn't need to be. And so I really just wanted to bring that to our attention and just share a couple things and really help to just encourage us, but also to enable us to give us the tools to be able to start now in helping our kids to be resilient and to not be victims, to not allow themselves to be rolled over or bullies, just to be able to stand up and stand on their own and stand with others, as well. So a couple of things that I wanted to share is just about bullying specifically and these are the kinds of conversations, Jake talked about, dinner time talk. These are a couple of conversations that you can have. Your kids have experienced bullying, I'm sure, at some degree or another. A lot of that stuff happens in school. And, we just want to make sure that that they're aware that we're fighting for them, that we love them, and that you love them. And so these conversations are good. One of the first things is just understand bullying. This is a learned behavior. People, this isn't normal. This isn't right. And so a lot of times these are things that are a result of a person being jealous or angry, and oftentimes someone who's being bullied themselves. And so when we bring that to light, when we allow our kids to know, like, hey, there's something actually broken in the person who's doing the bullying, then it actually begins to foster compassion, and it allows you to realize and take the power away from the person who's doing the bullying by bringing light to the subject. And so when your child knows, like, hey, there's something, this person's hurting, that can be helpful. One of the things you want to make your teen or your youth camp is not immune to this, but just to let your child know that if they feel safe to talk to that person who's bullying, to talk to them, to ask them a question. Maybe they did something without, totally unaware. Like, I didn't know that I hurt your feelings, or I didn't know that, my walking or talking this way annoys or bothers you. I'm sorry. And just bring the situation to the light. The more light we put on something like this, the less power it has. And obviously, if they feel safe in doing that, just asking questions, maybe they can relate. But one of the things that we don't want our kids to do is to retaliate, to repay bad with bad, to bully back, or to say things back in harm. We want people to have compassion. We want to treat each other with dignity and respect. And so that's the true strength. Like, that's the thing you want to help your child to understand, that having compassion is not weakness at all. That's true strength. Jesus was the strongest person ever to walk this planet, ever. Not just, just the physical, but just even his compassion and his love for us. He was stronger than anyone. No one with his power, his dignity, no one, his deity, if he wanted to come off that cross, he could have. And it took a lot of strength to take all that he took for us. And so we got to help our kids to understand that there is strength in compassion. If they're not able to talk to the bully directly, and that's okay. Don't keep silent though. Talk to someone, talk to your counselor, talk to an adult, tell someone, bring it to light. Again, this is all about bringing these things to light. People have power over other people when it's kept in the dark, when they try to isolate you, separate you, make you feel less than. But they lose their power when you bring other people into the situation, when you bring others in there to help you, to ally, to walk with you. That's what we want to be. We want to be there to walk with our kids and help them to know, like, hey, you're awesome and we're walking with you. We have Dr. Chuck on staff. He's there with us all week long. He's an amazing man. He knows how to connect with our teens, to help them to navigate the challenges that they face when they hear these really difficult things, the bullying, the kinds of things that happen. And then, of course, talk to your parents. The biggest thing is to not isolate yourself. Don't go through this alone. It's not fair to you. And just make sure your kids know that. Being bullied is not fair. It's not fair at all. And the next thing besides them being silent is letting them know, like, you're not the problem. You are so not the problem. We have to fight the lies that the bullies tell. They do not use truth. And even if it's like a part true, right? Where they realize that they have revealed a weakness or a character flaw or a physical weakness or something that differentiates you from other people. Don't allow that to take away your dignity, because everyone has problems. We all have problems. You know, I'm short and bald. Like in my teenage, I don't know if my teenage self would have bullied me, but I wasn't a disciple then. But gosh, like we all have issues, and so, teens, these young kids, they're going through so many things, especially some of the younger ones. They may not even be aware of their body odor yet. I remember when I was 13 and I was at a family party and it was revealed to me that I started to have body odor. It was embarrassing. At least I was around my family at the time, but it was like, so growing up, you guys remember, it can be so hard. There's so many challenges. And so just let your kids know, like, it's normal to not be perfect. It's okay. And so if somebody points out a flaw, thank them. Say, you know what? Thank you. Oh my gosh, I did not know aware that I was smelly. Can I borrow some deodorant? I definitely don't want to be the smelly child. Whatever, just acknowledge it. Have fun with it. Don't allow it to change who you are or to define who you are. We got to let our kids know the truth is how God sees us. The truth is, how our loving parents or guardians see us, not this person you just met or another teen or kid who happens to go to your church who is now making fun of you because they have new friends that they're trying to impress. And so that's just not who we're going to be. And so let our kids know they are not the problem. We all have room to grow. And especially the bully, they've got a lot of growth that needs to happen as well. Remember, bullying comes from weakness of character, fear, and jealousy, etc. Another thing that you could do for your kids is tell them, find role models, people that are awesome, that you like. If your kid says, oh, I want to be like that, I want to, carry myself. I want to be like that in sports or be like that in, speaking or whatever it is, help them to find role models, other people that can ally with them to help them feel better about who they are and really draw them out into helping them become better people. I have got so many people in my life from a teenage years up to current time, mentors in my life, people that I look up to and try to emulate and become like. And of course, we all want to become like Jesus. And so he's the ultimate role model. And along the way, we find people that are becoming more and more like Jesus right in front of our eyes. And so those are the people that we want to encourage our kids to find and be, to have as role models. And finally, and this is the most powerful of all of the things of these tips, is just praying. Jesus said that we need to pray for our enemies. This is such a powerful tool because it's actually a way of love. Praying for your enemies is a way to love them. And love drives out fear. You're not afraid of people you love. You're not afraid of people that you're praying for. There's no fear in love. And so teaching our kids to pray for others, and not in a haughty way, or I'm praying for you, I'll pray for you, but just helping our kids to realize that they can pray. And again, finding their friends, the ones that they trust, finding their counselor, praying with them. We had so many times of prayer. I got to pray with several of our campers last year that were going through challenging times. And that's why I'm having this conversation with you guys today, because it just breaks my heart that our kids experience this kind of thing. And so again, all these things are shared because I want our kids to be resilient. I want them to be able to stand strong and realize how amazing they are. We don't need to flatter our children to strengthen them. We can acknowledge their feelings. Things are awkward. It's okay. But we just ask lots of questions. We try to see them the way they see themselves, and then help them navigate from that place to the way that God sees them and the way that you see them. One of the most powerful things that I've found in helping others is revealing my own weaknesses and my own insecurities. Like I shared earlier, I'm short and bald. I don't feel short until I see myself in pictures, and I don't think I'm bald until I see myself in pictures. There's all these just weird things, but you share your insecurities. I'm broken in a lot of ways still, and yet I am full of love. I've got amazing friends and people that love me, and it's just, I want to help others to feel that as well. And so share your weaknesses, help people to see how you process and how you cope with those weaknesses, and just have fun, have regular conversations and how to fortify them and see how God sees them. Just to let you guys know what we will be communicating to our campers and staff about bullying is, one, this is not an environment that we desire or tolerate. We will address incidents as they arrive. We're praying for 0 incidents, but obviously not all our children are disciples, and even some of the ones that are have got a long way in becoming more like Jesus. And so we deal with these things as they arise. People need to be respectful and treat each other with dignity. That is one of the biggest things, is treating each other with dignity. There's no bullying allowed, whether it's physical, verbal, or otherwise. As I said, if an incident does happen, parents will be notified, both the person who's done the bullying, the perpetrator, and the people that have been bullied. And so we will take steps to address the situation and have everyone involved in the decision on how we proceed, whether it's an on-site discipline or removal of the child, whatever may need to happen. We're not going to say what will happen as due course. We treat each incident with special care. And, our goal is not punishment. Our goal is love. We want everyone to be loved and to be treated in that way. We're all part of God's family, but at the same time, God disciplines those he loves. And so we will address these things. Mike Morris says he doesn't like being the bad guy, but I've learned a lot from Mike over the years in how to lovingly and firmly discipline and have these types of conversations. So he doesn't have to be the only bad guy. I get to do that too now. But we're a team, and we stand by each other, and we're standing with you, all of our parents. We're standing with our children, and we want everyone to feel God's love. How do we foster that? Like I said, the rules, we're all unified on that. Dr. Chuck is available. We've created safe zones like the dorms. It's a safe zone. There's a place to rest, have fun, build relationships. It is not a place to be pranked or to be goofed out, or bullied in any way. So those are just the things I briefly wanted to share with you. I will be available all week at camp as well to help all of these things. So thank you for your attention.
Okay, at this point, Jose, we're still wanting to break into separate rooms for each camp.
I think we can answer our questions. I think we've been pretty clear. I think we can answer the questions as needed because we have parents in both camps, so I think we'll be okay.
Okay.
We do have a question just came up right there. It says, what procedures are set in place to secure the perimeter of the camp? We do have our life support team does do security and perimeter checks often and into the evening as well. We do have all of our campers are required to wear badges. So when there's anyone that comes on property that does not have badges, they're easily identified, and we're able to address that and take care of it.
Okay.
I have a list of some more questions.
Yeah,
I have a list of some more questions.
I see him, Khalid. We got it. Yeah, Dan, I would love, you should pray to God about the rain. If you guys didn't know, last year we had the rainiest year of camp we've ever had.
Second rainiest. We had flooded transportation with the Astro van back in like 05.
Okay. So yeah. So I mean, pray for us. We can't control the weather, and sometimes God decides we're not going to go outside and play as much as we would like. But we had several games and activities set up, and we're going to make sure that gets taken care of too. We can go through some of this stuff. I think there's an earlier one. Procedures. We got this perimeter questions regarding shirts for boys. Are sleeveless shirts allowed or short sleeves only? I can share a thought on that, but Morris's, Jose, you want to share the
No, I'd like to hear you. Go ahead, Jake.
Well, I think guys, technically, I think on our list, we've said that they are allowed, but just not in the cafeteria for hygiene reasons and cleanliness reasons and stuff. But I think something that parents want you guys to be aware that we're really trying to help with is trying to teach the kids about what they wear and why. And that not like as a protect the opposite sex kind of thing. I think the girls tend to get singled out for that. I think the boys are a part of this too, but what does it mean to honor God with your bodies? And to, I think to come at this from a place of holiness as much as possible, that we really want camp to be a safe place. And safe doesn't just mean bullying. It doesn't just mean, physical harm or anything like that. We want camp to be a safe place spiritually and to remove the distractions as much as possible. And so as a general rule of thumb, I tend to lean more towards there's not really a temperature reason that sleeveless shirts and short sleeve shirts don't change their temperature enough. There's not enough of a thermometer here in about these 4 inches that actually changes how hot a kid is. But I think there's something to be said, even for the boys, to think about, okay, we're gonna create a safe place for this as much as possible. And for you to just, I don't need the boys thinking about their arms, especially if they've been working out a lot this year. I want them to be thinking about giving and being at camp and being a positive part of that. So that's more of a perspective thing that I would encourage you guys to think about that. Lemuel brought up the dry fit shirts and shorts and stuff like that. I think that, yeah. So does that make sense? I don't know if that answered that question, but I don't know if Jose or the Morrises want to add anything else to it.
I'm good with that.
Keep on going. The no electronics policy, would a Kindle e-reader apply to that? It's used to reading before bed, so planning for that. I'm not sure what our policy has been about other electronics overall. I think it's kind of been a general rule of thumb, just no.
Yeah.
Right? Not just to have but like we don't want it to get taken, broken, something to happen to it in the process and stuff. I think they can bring a book with a book light.
Yeah.
That's fine, but I would say e-readers, just anything that's an electronic, let's just say it's a hard no.
The bigger issues, we don't want children to have access to the internet. And so a lot of the e-readers and a lot of the Kindle books do have Wi-Fi access, and they're able to get other apps and stuff like that. And so we just don't want people to have access to Instagram, social media, any of that stuff. Of course, any illicit things that, kids can pull up on the internet. So that's the policy. So yeah, so not any electronics that can connect to Wi-Fi.
Amen. And the lessons, I'll answer this just really quickly. If you missed it, parents, the lessons for youth camp, the theme is dreamers, and it's mainly going to be focused on Joseph and his dreaming for God, his relationship with God. For teen camp, the theme is one way home, and it's going to be elaborating on what does it mean to, like think John 14 when Jesus said, my Father and I will come and build our home with him. What does it mean to be at home with God here on earth and then into heaven? As far as the rest of that stuff, they're going to have to come to camp and get more there. Okay, keep going down. It says the list says rain gear. Does that include rain boots or just a raincoat? Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
Whatever they want to pack. Rain boots are fine.
They want to
bring it. Then hopefully they won't need it.
Yeah, if they want galoshes. Okay, the other question.
There was an earlier question about. Sorry. There was an earlier question about, said I registered my daughter for teen camp. How do I finish paying for registration?
It's the same link, right?
Correct.
Same link.
If that happened today, they did not register their child for teen camp because registration is closed. They may have signed waivers, but that is not the same thing. So if they're not sure, they can send me an email.
It sounded like they're asking, how do they finish paying? Is that
Well,
correct?
if they registered, then that link, yes, it is the same link. But I saw
Okay.
that question, and if it happened today, they didn't register for camp.
Got it.
Registration is closed.
Okay. All right. Will concession cards and camp shirts be handed out at registration when kids arrive? Yes. Yes, they will get all their gear once they get to camp. All right, it says, do we have a schedule of classes, lessons? I don't think we give out the schedule to the parents as far as the classes and stuff specifically, right? No. right?
You haven't.
No. We may get a summary afterwards and stuff, but the kids will have the opportunity to take notes and stuff that, like I said, if you join on Facebook as well, you'll be able to see some of the stuff as it goes on. We will post a lot of different things and thoughts afterwards. Bill, go ahead.
We just, at youth camp, there's one difference there. We will invite the parents to enter a Zoom class with us midweek. We're going to be talking about purity, and we'll send information so that the parents can actually Zoom in for that lesson.
Sweet. Awesome. Okay. We already covered the theme. Lemuel said, I recommend dry fit shirts and shorts, things that dry easily. That's very true. If it gets wet, dry fit clothes are ultimately encouraged. No gator attire. That's blasphemous. How does the Facebook page work? Okay, so several of you, I just sent an email out a little bit ago for all the parents who registered. If you put in your email address, that will have links to both. But if you go, I believe it's facebook.com/Florida Summer Camps, and you'll find it there. It says Florida Teen and Youth Camp, and on that page is a group for each of the camps. So, and if you guys follow that page every year, if you've got kids that are going to be coming for multiple years, we're just going to continue update that page with that year's new group. Okay, and you'll need to go find that group. You click in that you want to be invited to it. Again, this is only for immediate family. We're not extending it out to family, friends, and that kind of thing for the safety of kids, the digital safety of the kids. But you go there, and then we'll allow you to go in. If you have any issues, you can always send an email. And we'll make sure to get you set up there. Okay, how many campers to a dorm/room, and will there be a counselor in each dorm/room? That's a Jose or Morris's question.
What was the question again? Dorm space?
How many campers to a dorm or room?
So in teen camp, the boys are 55 boys upstairs, 55 boys downstairs with 5 counselors in each. The girls have the same in capacity, but that's not how many we have upstairs, downstairs, and then there's a left and right. So it's like 40 and 40 for the girls. And then the little kids camp has a max of 10 kids per. Youth camp has a max of 10 per camp per cabin.
8 actually this year.
8 this year. Okay, there you go. Thanks for correcting.
With
And then the
two counselors.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I would say that we are not leaving any kids to fend for themselves in their cabins.
No.
There will be adult supervision at all times.
So there's been a lot of questions about the PCR test. I answered it in the thing, but we are not requiring, at this time, we're not requiring a COVID test before camp. If that changes, we will let you know prior to camp, but right now, where things stand, we're not requiring testing prior to arrival at camp.
Okay. All right, we'll keep going.
Sorry,
we pack them
to laugh out
snacks?
loud. There's a hygiene question.
Yes.
Yes, they will tell them yes. We'll do our best to help our kids. I giggled because I remember years ago one of our parents asking if her child did bathe because he came home with a freshly packed suitcase. Luckily, he was very young and not too smelly, so it worked out. But yeah, we do our best, but
Yeah. Can't make them get in the shower. Yeah, that happens. Can we pack them snacks if they are small? I think the issue with snacks is, I think, like Cindy said, it's a nut-free camp. We have to protect kids that do have a nut allergy.
correct.
So you have to make sure, you have to know what is going in their bags. So I think please search them. And it is, we live in a world where weed gummies are a thing and stuff like that. So please make sure that's even stuff that's been kind of buzzed around for teen camp, is kids that are daring each other to try to breed something. You need to know what is in your kid's bag. Okay. I would say maybe even maybe a good rule is it has to be a sealed something. Whatever it is, it's got to be sealed. So no like homemade brownies or something like that. Like it's got to have a hermetically sealed lid so that we can verify its quality, so to speak. Bill?
Yeah.
For youth camp, I am not a fan of them sending extra snacks. One, because I don't like animals and bugs inside the
True.
inside the cabins, and because they have, especially if they're going and getting things at the little store, they definitely don't need the extra sugar. So for youth camp, I don't think you'd really need to send snacks with the kids. They have plenty to eat there.
Well, and I would say parents be very careful of chocolate. This is Florida and stuff melts. So, don't put chocolate in the bag for sure. All right, keeping going. Kids will be exhausted, so I recommend starting now to train them to drink water, especially younger kids. Yeah, that might be a good tip. They got to drink lots and lots of water. A lot of the trips to, in my experience with camp, a lot of the trips to the nurse's station tend to be hydration related. They have a stomach ache, headaches and stuff, and it's just because they're dehydrated and they need to drink some more water. Cindy, what time does check-in for camp start on the 26th?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. Okay. And parents, I'm trying to get through all the messages. We've still got 29 messages left to go. So if it's a redundant message, please look ahead and see if there's anything that has already been asked, because we're trying to get through a lot of this stuff. Is insects repellent okay to send with our child? Yes, right? We allow bug spray?
Correct.
Okay. Bug spray is okay. Drop
Water,
off on
water backpack. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Put it in your backpack.
Water.
Is there a theme party for the teens? Yes, there is going to be a dance at camp. The theme will be sent out. We'll make sure it gets out there for everybody. So if they want to be, unless
Yeah, it'll be posted. It'll be posted on the website, and we'll let people know.
Okay, sound good. All right. Will there be an opportunity for the kids to share contact information with each other since phones are not allowed? Yeah, they can. I mean, they have notebooks. They're going to have lots of ways to like write down information and stuff. So there's going to be lots of ways for them to share contact information. We'll have to teach them to go back to the Stone Age when they actually have to write it down and then go home and put it in their phone afterwards. Or when you pick them up, you can always, exchange numbers and stuff there. Lots of chances for that stuff. Any advice for parents if one child refuses and doesn't want to go? We have 2 teen boys. One is eager to go and has been asking for camp for months, and the other child doesn't want to go and says, "You can't make me go." He was bullied, subjected to a prank gone bad in the bathroom. We have tried to convince him and stress it's safe, but he still doesn't want to go. Any of you guys want to share on that one?
I'm sorry. I didn't see that one. Could you read that again?
Making a child go to camp if he doesn't want to go to camp. We're not really, I don't know that that's a good idea if he's, I don't mean afraid to go in a bad way, but if he's not resolved with what happened, I think, one, I'd like to see him be able to get resolved with what happened at camp so that he could feel listened to and heard. But that's kind of hard. You can contact me personally if you want.
Yeah. I think to some degree, these are some case-by-case scenarios. I think that situation, we definitely want to help as best we can to help your kid get resolved. I think I can understand that. There's a lot of anxiety about camp or maybe confronting the person that they talk to. So they definitely want to help. I think there is a reality, parents, on some level. This is for some of the kids in this generation, this is being gone away for a week is a strange thing for this generation of kids on some level. And so there may be just more conversations that need to happen, or, maybe encourage them to talk to other kids that have gone to camp and ask them about how it went and, their favorite things about camp. And I think kind of any of that stuff can help if it's just a fear or it's I haven't been before or whatever. Talking to people from years past can be very helpful. Jose, any other thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think that's in line. I mean, certainly don't want to force the kid. You encourage them as best you can. Unfortunately, yeah, we can't protect them from every kind of ill that might come across, but we do our best to address it when they come up. But yeah, talking to the other kids, there's so many great memories and so many great experiences. They far outweigh the bad. Far, far, far outweigh the bad.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I would do.
Okay. Hey, parents, for time's sake, I would ask you, please, let's not add any more questions. Like the list just keeps growing and growing and growing, and we're not going to be able to hit everything. We're going to do our best here, but we don't want to keep everybody here until midnight. So let's, I think this is a good question. Do we work with children on the spectrum? Our son is high functioning, however, he needs clear instructions. You want to share anything specific to that?
Yeah, I'm really happy that parents are entrusting their children with on the spectrum to us at camp, and even the kids that are ADHD that are going to need some special attention. We are working with our counselors. I'm really well aware, there's several of us on site that are well aware of those needs, and you've listed those. And if you've listed those when you registered your child of medical needs or specifics, I have taken a look at all those. I have placed kids on teams that would spread kids out that need special attention. So the counselors can give that special attention, and as camp as well as youth camp. If you have, I've talked to several moms and dads that have concern with their kids, and I've been able to alleviate a lot of those concerns. I feel like we will do our utmost best, and I'm really excited. The camp, if your child is not a wanderer, if your child will stay connected to a group, and they will obey, they will, to commands of, okay, this is what we're doing now, and now we're going to cafeteria, because camp is very structured. The afternoon has a lot of free time, but in all, it's structured. So those kids have always done well at camp the way it's structured. And so but call me freely. Please call me if you have questions, and I can help you more. But yes, we are well aware and working with that. Also, while I'm on here, medication needs to come in the original bottle. All right, that's very helpful. Medications come in original bottles.
Okay, and we keep going here. Are the cabins air conditioned? Yes, they are. They are air conditioned. That's a quick and easy one. Will there be a talent show this year? It's a good question, James. So for teen camp, we're doing the talent show a little differently this year. We're actually going to be having a lip sync competition in the traditional talent show's place. That will be a chance for the kids to, perform together as a team and put on a show and get actually points for their team as well. And we're also looking for other opportunities that throughout the week we may be able to have the kids get up and do a poem or a song or something like that. But the talent show is going to be a little bit different this year. Okay, let's see if there's any other questions that need to be addressed.
Hey, Jake, there's somebody had a question about the lake.
Opting.
And
the lake.
Child could opt out of the lake. Certainly they could, but let me explain what we do to help alleviate some of the anxiety with that. We will have a minimum of 2 lifeguards down at the lake, as well as counselors positioned to watch the people in the lake. We use a buddy system, and we will check that. For you that may not know what a buddy system is, everybody must check in, and they when they check in, they hang their tags up, they buddy together with someone else, they go into the water, and then about every 5 to 10 minutes, especially in the beginning, we call for a buddy check, and they have to, within 5 seconds, raise their buddy's hand. And if they don't do it in that time frame, they're out of the water and they get a lecture and all that. but then it also allows us to make sure we've got everybody accounted for. We also have the lake tested for bacteria. They have to do that anyways. The health department requires that, but they give us a copy of that test. They'll give us a copy of that test on Saturday when we show up before camp starts.
Cool.
Right.
And the pool is operated differently. There's also a lifeguard there, and it is a very clear pool. My concerns are less at the pool because you can see everything in the pool, but we do take that very seriously. So got any other questions about that, you can give us a call. If you don't want your child in the lake, let us know that, and let them know that at the time you check in, so we can let the counselor know that as well.
Yep. And with any of those activities, the kids don't have to participate in. There's a lot of things to do at free time, so they don't have to participate in the lake. Okay, as far as I saw a question about Bill for the purity class. There was a question there, so you may just want to clear up at some through an email or something to those parents about the details of the purity class. But there's a question if their kid could opt out for that if needed. So maybe you need to clear that up.
Just so I can send out. It will be age appropriate, but we are talking about Joseph, and the part of the story is Potiphar's wife. So we will make that age appropriate, but we can talk through that. If somebody can email me, and if there's a concern.
Yes, please let us know and stuff. I want to clear that up for you. All right. Any last questions? I think we got to everything.
Cool.
Any last questions, parents, that we can hopefully clear up for you? Okay. Well, I think it's been a great night. I don't know if Jose, Bill, Mike, Cindy, you guys have any other like closing thoughts or things just to kind of keep in mind before we wrap?
Yeah, I would like to just add as an encouragement to the parents that this is an incredible opportunity for your child. But I don't want you to look at it as, when they start coming home and they say, okay, are you going to study the Bible? It's more about let's build relationships with one another, and also let them figure out how to build their relationship with God along with these relationships. And I think I have 4 children. We have 4 children of our own as well. They're all adults living on their own and all that. So they've all come to know God in different ways. And one thing, we don't try to put pressure on them. We have expectations, but trying to alleviate the pressure and really work on the relationships with them. So anyways, just a reminder, when your children come home from camp, just help them work through that type of relationship with God, and it'll be great. And you'll know when they're ready. So that's my 2 cents worth.
Yep. Well, this is great, everybody. We are so excited. And yes, there was that last question there where you get a chance to meet their counselor at check-in. The counselors will be there, so you'll get a chance to run into them and stuff. It'll be awesome. If you want to even bring a little gift for the counselor to come to camp. I know that some of the years I was a counselor, they actually, I had parents that like gave me a little 4-pack of Red Bull or something like that. Just like, here, you can do this. I believe in you. But I want to encourage you guys. It's going to be an awesome camp. So let's say a word of prayer, and we'll wrap up for the night. Let's see, Jose, you want to close us out?
Sure. Let's pray. Almighty God, Father, thank you so much for this evening. Father, I just want to first offer praise. God, you do so many amazing things for us every day. Your love for us, the way you orchestrate our lives so that we can walk with you. God, thank you for all of that. God, thank you for teen camp and youth camp, and that we can have this special time to really just help people to see you, learning through stories and interactions and prayer and worship and all the things we do, even the competing, Father, and the life lessons that get to happen as well. I know that we we don't want the negative things, but these are all opportunities for us to learn as adults, as kids. God, there's so many things that you do, and we're just so very, very grateful. We do ask that you would protect our camp in a very, very special way. Allow your Holy Spirit to move powerfully through every bit and everything that happens at camp, from the lessons, the prayers, the arts and crafts, every little bit, God, just pointing to you in every way that's possible, because you're everything to us. God, thank you so much for the parents, as Mike said, that would trust us to be able to help their kids to get to know you in this special way. God, thank you so much for all the staff, all the volunteers, people that have just put in time and money and energy into making this camp special. Thank you for all the churches that support what we are doing so that we can have camp, for all the parents who sacrifice and save, and for others who donate their monies so that kids can go. This is an everyone effort, and I'm so grateful to be a part of something so powerful and so amazing. And so, God, we just ask that you would bless it and just be with us through the entire part of it, every bit, from now all the way through camp, and throughout the rest of the year, as we just strive to walk closer with you. God, thank you again for this evening. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Love you guys. And again, we'll send out the link, but this will be on the Florida Fuse Teen Ministry YouTube channel, so you guys can go back and revisit it if there's any questions and stuff to clear up. But looking forward to it. Please be praying for us. We're only a few weeks away. Love you guys. Have a great
Love
night.
you. See you guys.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.
So good to see everyone. Looking forward to see you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you,
night, all.
everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is so cool.
Guys, thank you so much for everything.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.